Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Nexiphor Cast, where we highlight forward-thinking leaders who are shaping the industry. Today, I have a truly special guest, Michael Wang, founder of Origin CRE. Michael, thank you very much for joining me today.
Dorant, what's up, man? Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Michael, can you give us an introduction about yourself and just tell us how you got started in this business in the first place?
Yeah, my name is Michael. I'm the founder and CEO of Origin CRE, commercial real estate. Our website is origincre.ai. The .com was too expensive, you know.
I got you, man.
We're pure broker, commercial real estate broker. We don't own property. We don't own businesses. Although we might own in our personal lives, our business is purely brokerage.
Okay.
And we've been doing this for 10 years, and we've always been technology driven. And I think like five or 10 years ago, the name of the game was, I think 10 years ago, it was organization. 5 years ago, it was data. So you started seeing all these commercial real estate data platforms pop up, and we use all of them. Some work, some don't. But now in 2025, it's AI.
No, absolutely. Can you also share a bit of your about your past experience, past jobs, things that led you, I can say, into commercial real estate?
Yeah, I'll be brief about it. I'm not sure how interesting my life is, but I grew up in New York City. I have an older brother. We were going to be stockbrokers for my whole life, pure business people. And then um, I went to a really good high school, never went. Um, Basically was a very poor student. So unlike my brother who became an ultra successful stockbroker, uh, and then later transitioned to something else, I was not able to do that. And then I ended up in 2001 doing manufacturing because I have a Chinese background.
Okay.
And manufacturing was a big deal in that time from America to China. So heavy business. We made accessories. We brought it over here. I probably did 10,000 sales pitches, went from small trade show to regional to national, opened up in like Amazon and Target and Walmart and stuff. And then I worked at an aerospace company handling all their factories in China. So very heavy manufacturing background. And then from there, I still wanted to do like finance, and I was too old. But it's my birthday today. I'm I'm
Happy
like
birthday,
90.
man. Happy
Thank you,
birthday.
man. Yeah, I'm like 97 years old, but actually I'm like 42. So when it was kind of too old to go back into finance and stuff. So um, real estate seemed like a cool way to be involved in people's portfolios. And as a salesperson, as like a broker, make like big money. So uh, that kind of was the reason for getting into real estate. And it was always commercial. It was never going to be residential. Um, and uh, that's how I got my start.
Okay. Awesome. And as you mentioned, you originally wanted to do something more like finance, let's say. How did that, I can say, business finance mindset shape you the way you approach real estate today?
Well, I would say it's really from like my entrepreneurial manufacturing background, business building. The finance was in me since I was like a little kid, but going into real estate, it was never, let me be a real estate agent.
Yeah.
It was always, I need to build a business. And there's a little bit of that as a regular agent. Like you could build a team. You need to hire marketing. You need to make your own CRM. You can have your own administrator, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But that being said, really running a full business is still very different. So the mindset of that, the mindset was going in was always that it was always customer service based and not like, let me close a deal and make some money. I don't care for that. And through building, I think one of the first things that's very apparent in brokerage is that you need a good CRM, or forget CRM, it's like kind of cliche, but you need a good operating and organizational structure
Yeah.
with SOPs to be able to hold all the various data, to be able to organize all the different staff and third party people. And a lot of that I got from manufacturing.
Yeah.
At Project Management Institute or like Six Sigma, just in time, like inventory delivery. And I applied a lot of that into my business. But what I learned is that brokerage is a service business, and service is different from brick and mortar, different from manufacturing. So there's a lot of adaptation that needs to be and learning that needed to happen to um, take my past skills and transition them in a way that actually works and makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. It makes sense. So from your first deal to now running, I can say several deals at a time. What were the key turning point in your career that changed how you operate today?
Well, the first couple of years, you got to learn. So, in a brokerage deal, it's very different from a lot of things. It's like a white glove service on a high ticket item kind of thing. There's a lot of industries like this.
Yeah.
You could talk about like, watch sales, like high-end watches. You could talk about um, like very like exclusive vacations, um, selling like sports packages at stadiums. Like in real estate and what I do, retail leasing, there's so many parts to the deal, from like due diligence of the business to the due diligence of the space, construction, utilities, knowing the county you're in, like the Department of Buildings process, attorneys, if the deal is big enough, it affects the property's finances, different goals of your different profiles of clients. So there's so much involved that the learning takes a long time to get it right.
Yeah.
Now, after you know how to do a deal, it's kind of like, man, the deal I just did was so inefficient. I had to ask so many questions in between. The next time I'm going to do it better. And then now, like, you build your book of resources, let's say, of like architects, contractors, attorneys, people you could trust, and they're all involved in the deal. And you're like, from A to Z, I got to make sure um, I treat my client with good customer service, because, like, in the beginning, I'm not making any money. Right? I
Sure.
don't have a lot of deals. So if I have a good client, I'm like, oh, I got to close this thing. I could make 10, 20, $30,000 US at the end of this. Um, so what you find is like, you could do it like on a pen and paper. I'm going to just make sure I treat this person really, really well. Now, what happens is there's so much information about just even the property itself. How big is it? Is there gas? Is there venting? What kind of venting? When is it available? Now, when the tenant moves in, is the owner willing to do some work? What kind of tenant do they want? What's allowed in the zoning? All this
Yeah.
stuff. I could go on and on. And it becomes very difficult, even for one deal, to log everything down. Now, what happens when you have 5 deals? What happens if you have 10 deals? It becomes
Yeah.
impossible. So the next thing was, how do I track this? And I went through multiple CRMs to do this. Out of the box, plain vanilla like Salesforce, toggling. And you got to be like a IT guy, or at least dedicate that much time to it. But you get it done. And then there's the next step of like, well, I can't do this all myself. So I need to build a team around it. And stop me anywhere if I'm going like running on for too long.
No, no, it's
But
good.
you need an admin. We're very marketing and graphics intensive, not only for us acquiring business, but when we get it, we need to market it. You need a marketing person, research analyst. If you're a company like mine, you need an IT person, an accountant, whatnot. And then the question becomes, assuming you know how to run a business and how to manage all this, but how do you integrate it into your system? So by integrating it into your system, then, with the system alone, you could get up to like 5 deals by yourself. But aside from like making graphics or just like day-to-day stuff, because we're meeting people physically out in the real world, like what we call a showing, like a tour of the space. If you take one business on a tour to 5 places in the day, that's your whole day. Now, if you're doing that consistently with like multiple accounts, you end up not having time. So you need agents. You need to hire agents to work with you. So if you're able to establish the whole workforce, then you can do up to like 10 deals, let's say. This is all very traditional stuff. And a lot of people
Yeah.
do this. But what we've started to do and what we've achieved in the past couple of years is now like tighten it up, right? So tighten up our SOPs, but tighten it up within the CRM, the system. And what's the big thing we're doing as of like 5 years ago, where we started purchasing a lot of third-party data,
Hmm.
is now connecting the data into the system. Because you start off with these third-party platforms, someone needs to learn it. Like it's a big platform. And we don't just have one, we have like a bunch.
Sure.
And we're on every account, every property, every business. You need to go into the software and pull the data. Now, data, like, then you need to put it into, because the data alone is not good enough, right? Our main traditional workflow is what is the primary meat of closing the deal. So to scrape the data and now add it into our workflow, it takes like APIs, a manual training of people.
Yeah.
Now with AI integrations, there's like better ways to do it. Sometimes they're like built in the software already. Um, and what this does is 2 things. You're a little bit more efficient. So let's say you go to like 10 to 15 deals, but really what we're talking about is the quality of the close. So I might be able to work on like 15 deals, but I only close like 2 because
Yeah.
we're like
Yeah.
in a numbers game,
Yeah.
But if you can tighten up your due diligence with data, with a process, with the right questions, um, with the right sources, then you can start, well, instead of these 15, that was a mistake. Let me do this different group of 15, which is much more vetted. And maybe I could close 8 or 9 of them. So at the point we are now, I personally can handle about 30 accounts without any quality loss.
Nice.
And that's because a mixture of all these things integrated together.
Yeah, I fully agree on that part because I also think that the software is super important thing to, I can say, discuss and think about it. Because I also have like a background in software engineering, and I know that all this kind of stuff, low backend API, how this kind of things work. And the good thing about all of this is that the software can be fully customized. It's not like it depends on you. Let's say if you want maybe to use like a subscription-based platform, that's something else because you have maybe just to adopt to those features and just have to use it what they offer. But if you know like the software engineer part, and you can always like create your own platform. You don't have like to pay subscription-based stuff and can get limited. But yeah, you can create your own software if you know your requirements well, if you know your pain points well, and you have like all I can say the diagram, all the map how you want to do this kind of things from the onboarding from the start when you want to onboard the clients to the close. Everything can be like, and also with AI today it can be like automated. And I've seen it in it work with different kind of leaders in different kind of space. And it's like I think it's game changing because it's like helping in different kind of areas, let's say from speed, starting from follow-ups, because I think one of the biggest thing that is keeping real estate like or holding back from closing more deals, I think is speed, because me as a client, if I want like to hire you, if I want to contact you for any of your services, and I don't get like a reply back within 10 or 50 minutes, I'm gone, okay? Because I will go to another one on my list. And now people who are like using AI, also they are losing AI in customer support which integrate those chatbots and the websites, which most of the people think is a super, simple thing, but it's like game changing because those AI chatbots can be like super advanced. You can like train it and modify it. So it can maybe qualify the lead, it can welcome the lead, it can also like help the lead answer any questions within seconds, will not mislead the client because it has all the information in your company. It's like a game changing also for you. And also in your software, if you like integrate it right, can be like a game changer. And I think this is the beauty of a software because it can be customized from A to Z. It doesn't have any limitation as long as you like don't use any subscription based platform. Because for them, you can maybe like be on client of them for a year. You can request maybe a feature and that feature can be live within 6 months. And it depends how many clients like yourself were interested in that feature because subscription-based platform will not like build a feature just for one client, which is pay maybe $50, $100 a month. But if you have it like fully customized, it's great because I can say you're the owner of that platform. And you can like move, I can like say remove or add features anytime you want.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that. I'm actually from a different school where I like to use the biggest platform with the most funding because I like that they're continuously innovating. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
not my specific feature, but they're doing it across the board. And then also, so like I wouldn't be able to do that with my own. And also I'm afraid like if I'm if I'm using someone that's not big, like the big guys are gonna stay. I don't
Of
want my
course.
CRM to like shut down in 6 months. So like making my own, then I would have to put in the work to continuously evolve it. So like as where I am right now, I like the big brands. But if I myself get big enough, maybe I gotta call you, Dorant, and help me make like customs.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
But
Yeah,
let's talk.
because
Mm,
yeah, go ahead, sorry.
no, I'm about to talk about it. I'm about to talk about the speed and efficiency. So go ahead before I get started.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I've noticed, I can say with my other guests on my podcast and also with people I work with, I can say with other real estate leaders, is that from their perspective, it's enough at least like to know what the technology and also AI can do, because they don't have like always to know how to implement the feature, how to implement the AI automation, how to implement the software, because this kind of stuff like coding takes time, takes security, persistence, all of this kind of stuff matter for you to have a platform that will not crash at midnight. So you as a
Yeah.
founder,
Even
yeah,
like the security, like
yeah,
I need us to do that.
yeah, of course. And this is why I was saying that you as a founder, the only thing you need to know is that this can be done. So, okay, this can be done in my software. I can say this can be automated. And you can
Mm.
always, as you mentioned, hire other people, hire maybe other agents. So it can deal, they can handle the whole stuff, so you can be like sleep well at night. So you will know you like work with professionals in this case, and your software will not crash midnight. So I don't think leaders have always like, to know how to do the software, because as you mentioned yourself, it takes time and it has a lot of bottlenecks or things that should be like, prepared about. So that was my point.
Yeah. Now, in terms of like efficiency on the deal, right? Because like again, um, I'm talking about brokerage and AI, but I'm not here selling an AI or like a tech product.
Yeah.
I'm trying to create a traditional old school brokerage, but bring it to the modern world. So,
Yes.
like a technology enabled brokerage. And
Nice.
when you talk about efficiency, right? So I want to give you something concrete and the viewers something concrete. Um, Unfortunately, I cannot disclose like everything that I do because
Sure.
we're still in the middle of this. And we in a couple of years, I'll be happy to give every single detail of exactly what I use.
Sure.
And I'll prove it from like a nice beach or something. And like the Swiss Alps while I'm chilling. But
Nice.
right now we're like deep into it. Um, but for example, traditional brokerage, and I kind of made that people are taking information and like writing it down. They don't have like a structured, standardized place to put the info. Because you said something like, well, you can have AI and they can respond because they have all the info. But how do you get all the info there in the first place? That's one of the biggest issues of brokerage, where you need this centralized system to be able to capture from different sources and then not just have it with you like, oh, I'm back to an old school agent with all this info that's like clean and organized. And I did it in like 10 seconds rather than like 10 weeks. That's only half the story. The other half, it's not that I take this and just start telling everyone like verbally. I could hardly talk now, right? But it's to now take that information and then package it in a user interface and a communication method that goes out to everyone as well. So picture this. We get a new listing. We call the listing like a property that we're trying to lease out. We got to go and figure out the space itself, but also its context in the market. We need to pull the comps, which is like the comparable products and how much they go for. Now, traditionally, preparation for this, you do it by yourself. You subscribe to some services, you put it all together. But now, um, so I do this manually still, but we have all these different sources that I have a staff that puts it together somewhere. Now, once it's all in there, then the next step is like marketing. So the
Sure.
graphics designer needs to take everything and make multiple versions of either the same thing or different things um, for content. And then you need to take this content and blast it everywhere, right?
Yeah.
And we have a sales development person, like, to shoot it out, standard email campaigns, calls. So even through the team, even through this structured SOP and like organization we have, we went from 1 to like 15 deals. Now imagine, rather than our research department pulling everything, you have the ability to either through an API, or really, this is the real power of the AI right now, just kind of like downloading or copying, like control, hey, like select all, and dumping it in the system, and let the AI pull it out. Take my email chain that's like 30 emails long and just dump the chain into the system and pull out the research. This now goes from what was really good already in the traditional way to instant. Now,
Yeah.
let's say you have all this data, and in the what was automated before was like a graphics designer with the templates. And then the graphics designer could take it and put in the templates. But now if you set up your system the right way, the graphics designer, if he's capable of it, can now be the graphics manager and not have to
Yeah.
make anything. Just shoot it into the templates.
Yeah, I agree.
Same thing now with the outreach. You take all these materials, and rather than sending emails one by one or through HubSpot, which we use on a drip campaign, but you still want to do the manual calls, you can have AI shoot everything out. You can have AI, maybe not for the calls outward, but you still can. But like, particularly like the inbound leads, we say the same script. We do some due diligence and we give them the info. So you can have an AI agent dig up instantly, like you said, right? Not 10 minutes later, not 3 days later, instantly
Seconds. Yeah.
answer all of their questions. And we already do this now from like previous tech upgrades. We put them in our system. And as soon as we enter the information, the system automatically sends it to them.
Yeah.
So gotta be on the phone. Hey, it's this price, is this big, whatever. What's your info? 3 to 4 minute call. Everything's in your mailbox. But now that with the AI upgrade, you don't even got to do the call. Forget the 5 minutes. Because our sales outreach department, they're full time. They're on the phone all day doing different outreach. So now you think about this. These are like the standard functions, right? And you start replacing all of them with AI. And this goes deeper, right? There's more departments you can do this with, more efficiency, better customer service. And where we are now is now we got the bones of the brokerage done in terms of the communication and all the steps. When me as the CEO and the founder, what I'm focused on, that now that running the company is more automated and I have more staff for it, I'm focusing on going to all the shows, going to all the tech incubators, and figuring out, one, putting this together, like we just said, making it better and better.
Of course.
But what kind of research and data is out there? What new products are there that I could make my research even better on the property, on the business, than on the marketing? We use like Zoom Info right now. We use like, like HubSpot analytics for emails. But what kind of marketing analytics can this new wave of AI and data offer us, where we can purchase it and put it into the system so that when we do 15 deals, now instead of closing 8 or 9, we're closing like 13, 14. And with the efficiency, let's close 50 deals and close 45. You know what I'm saying? Like back in the day, one agent, you got to do 10 deals to close one deal because it's a numbers game.
Sure.
So one agent can only do 10 deals. A big bad agent can do like 30 deals, close 3 deals a month. These are like the top guys in the city.
Yeah.
Now you have one dude able to handle 50 deals and is closing like fucking 30 of them. I'm like 10 of the best agents in the city rolled into one.
Yeah.
So that's how the company's building. We're building this. We got like 5 agents, and our company as a whole, with the 5 agents, is the same as some of the biggest companies in the city with 50 killers. And this is all due to AI. Let's close this real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I fully agree with you. Like the power of AI has no ending, no ceiling for AI in this case. And I love it that you're using it in this, I can say in this, so it's this scalable in this level, because most of the founders I talk to, they will just use it like talk to ChatGPT daily, you know? They don't like integrate AI as much as you. So Michael, like before we wrap up, where can our listeners and also potential clients reach out to you if they want to?
So my company was previously Project Queens because we focus in the borough of Queens. That's a borough within New York City, but the population is 2.3 million or 3.2 million. Sorry, my brain is. It constitutes the 4th largest city in America by itself. But now we're expanding outwards. We're doing deals in other states nationwide. So the website goes live in like 2 weeks. Origin CRE.ai.
Great. Michael, once again, thank you very much for being part of this podcast. It was super fun, insightful, and inspirational conversation. And for everyone who is watching, keep growing, keep thriving, and I will see you on the next episode.